What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today we are doing the championship score predictions for week 2. Week 1 was absolutely unforgettable, so I'm even more excited to do week 2 today. I can only apologise for not uploading so much this week. I did say in my review video on Monday that university is coming back thick and fast for me, so I do have to take priority and I won't be as consistent, but I am going to keep the series and review up and running, so there's no excuse for me. You're still going to see those videos, don't you worry about that, despite what I have. If you got a correct score, your comment will be on the screen right now. We had quite a lot of games predicted midweek with the Carabao Cup. I did alright, I actually got 2 right. I got the Millwall and Cheltenham game right, and actually correctly predicted the Gillingham and Coventry score. I didn't correctly predict who would win penalties, but this is going to apply for all of you. If you get the correct score but you don't get the correct penalty winners correct, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and you'll get a correct score, don't you worry. If you like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like, it's tremendously appreciated. We're on 268 subscribers right now and it's nearly the end of September. Come on guys, I would really love it if you can push me to potentially 275 or even push me towards 300. If you exceed 300, that'd even be more incredible, because right now, I don't want to be in my mid-20s achieving 1,000 subscribers and then I could do this collab with BenHD. You know, someday both of us are going to retire, and at this rate I'll retire before I get there. So if you can get me to 1,000 subscribers as soon as you can, it would make my day. My target is to still get 1,000 subscribers before this current championship season ends. So you've got plenty of time, but before you know it, the games will run out and the days and the weeks will run out. So please push me to 1,000 subscribers as soon as you can. The sooner we get there, the sooner we can do the collab. But without any further ado now, let's go through all my score predictions for this weekend's games. So we're going to start off with Friday's game, Coventry going up against Queen's Park Rangers. I think this will be a very tight game. Coventry ultimately unlucky that they lost their 2 last games. They lost to Bristol City despite playing very well. They lost out in the 80-something minute with Thomas Callis getting a set-piece goal, which would be disappointing, and being knocked out on penalties by League One Gillingham was quite embarrassing as well. With Queen's Park Rangers, they would feel quite refreshed since they were already knocked out in the Carabao Cup. I think this will be a tough game. I think Coventry at home are really tough to beat. You know, before that defeat against Bristol City, Coventry were unbeaten for the whole of 2020, so it's definitely not going to be an easy trade, but both sides have players that can hurt. Matt Godden and Callum O'Hare I think will be dangerous for Coventry. As for Queen's Park Rangers, I think Lyndon Dykes will continue his form. I'm not sure if Ryan Manning's going to start, because I've been hearing he's been having issues with contract negotiations, so he may not play in this game, but despite that I think Queen's Park Rangers will still be okay. As a score, this is going to be really tight. If Coventry play with the intensity they did against Bristol City, they may have a chance, but with Queen's Park Rangers right now and having a strong start, you know, they could easily lose this game, but I think it's going to be level. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. I think this will be a very tight game. And before we move on to my next score prediction, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen. Welcome to the first game of predicting Championship Matchday 2. We start off with Friday's game, Coventry versus Queen's Park Rangers. Coventry playing some really good stuff here. There's Liam Walsh now with the ball. He squares it to the box to Kelly. Oh, it's a goal! Coventry have got the lead up to the goal. It's Matt Godden who scored on his debut against Bristol City. He continues his hot goal scoring form against Queen's Park Rangers. 1-0 Coventry. We're in the final few minutes of the game right now. Coventry still ahead. Only just though is McCallum now. The ball back to Allen, back to McCallum. It's full time. Coventry get the 1-0 win. So FIFA 20 has predicted Coventry 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. So FIFA 20 thinks that Coventry will win by 1-0. That was going to be my alternative prediction, so we'll see who's right out of FIFA and I. So the next game to go over is Nottingham Forest going up against Cardiff. Both sides very below par in their opening day performances, and both will need to improve if they want to try and have a really good season. Forest looked very mediocre against Queen's Park Rangers. They had plenty of chances though, they just couldn't take them. As for Cardiff, not only did they look poor, but they didn't have many chances either, and Sheffield Wednesday were the better side for most of it. So right now, both of these sides will be under pressure, and I think if Nottingham Forest don't pick up a win as soon as they can, I think Sabri Marucci will be in danger of his job. I genuinely mean that. And as for Cardiff right now, I think the whole Mendes Lang situation has just put a dark cloud over the club, so they need to get rid of that dark cloud as soon as they can and just do the reset button on it. I think this game's going to end 1-0, but I'm just trying to think which side is going to edge it. Cardiff have a very strong record against Nottingham Forest. They've actually beaten Nottingham Forest in their last 5 games, but Nottingham Forest broke that curse in their last meeting, beating them 1-0 in the Cardiff City Stadium, and I think that result will match in the City ground. I'm going to say a 1-0 home victory to Nottingham Forest. I just got a bit of an instinct that Nottingham Forest are actually going to perform in this one. They'll react well to their defeat and they'll start going for this season now. But before I move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts.
The second game to predict this weekend is Nottingham Forest versus Cardiff City. Here's Marlon Pack now at the corner. He's going to swing it. He does. Very poor corner though. Oh, I tell you what, folks, it's a goal! Wow, out of nothing. Cardiff take the lead. 1-0 Cardiff. Is Thiago Silva going to deliver the corner? He is. Nuno da Costa. Oh, it's a good tackle. But no, it's not a good tackle according to this referee. It's a penalty given to Nottingham Forest in the 85th minute. Goodness me. It looks like it's Callum Patterson who's conceded it. Oh, yeah, it's poor challenge to give away. Nuno da Costa with the penalty now. He can score this. And it's the top corner. Nottingham Forest get their equaliser in the 86th minute. 1-1. And I think 1-1 is going to be the full-time score. And it is indeed.
Interesting. FIFA 20 predicts a 1-1 draw. Can easily happen between the two sides. It's neck and neck. So the next game to go over is Blackburn versus Wycombe. Now, it's such a shame that this game was not chosen as 1 for 10 EFL matches to use the pilot fan scheme, because if you don't know about Gareth Ainsworth, he's played a lot of his career in Blackburn, so he's going to have an emotional return to Ewood Park, and he's playing his Wycombe side, and honestly, it'll be such a proud moment for him. Unfortunately, Ewood Park was not chosen by the EFL to host the pilot scheme, but for what I think of this game, it'll be tight because Wycombe are no pushovers. They are a high-pressing team. I think they deserve to win against Rotherham. And as with Blackburn, they may be a little bit more fatigued than Wycombe since they had to play in the Carabao Cup. They lost against Newcastle. Looked better for Newcastle, to be fair, but the difference is Newcastle took their chances and Blackburn didn't, and that's the difference between the two levels of the Championship and the Premier League. Blackburn have had a really leaky defence. They have recently got Daniel Ayala from Middlesbrough. Don't know if he'll immediately improve their defence, but it's a good amount of experience to have. So overall with this game, I think Blackburn may edge this. I think it's going to be a 2-1 victory to Blackburn, but it'll be very, very tight. Before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
The third match we commentate on is the first 3 o'clock match. Blackburn versus Wycombe Wanderers. McCarthy now. Bloomfield. Oh, it's a goal! It's a goal! Literally just before the half-time whistle went off. I think it's Onyedema with the goal. Matt Bloomfield with the assist. Wow. Jason McCarthy tackles, and that, I think, is going to be the full-time whistle. According to FIFA 20, it's Blackburn 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1.
What a bold shout by FIFA. They think Wycombe will get a 1-0 away victory. Gareth Ainsworth beating his former club. That would be scenes if that does happen. The next game to go over is Brentford versus Huddersfield. Both sides having a defeat in the opening day of the season, but both can have their seasons right on track if they get a positive result in this game. Brentford, I do dare say, were fantastic against Southampton in the Carabao Cup. They're a pretty strong team, actually. You know, it wasn't a completely second stretch team, and I think they needed that sort of game to get their confidence up. As with Huddersfield, of course, they were already knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Rochdale, so they may be more refreshed and they would have had more time to go over their tactics of what went wrong against Norwich. The thing I worry about Huddersfield a little bit, I don't know if Koroma is good as a striker. You know, he's a central attacking midfielder, and for me, Colin Grant needs to play. If Colin Grant plays, Huddersfield always have a chance to have a victory. I think overall, if I look at the squads, you know, I can see this game being a shock. I think Brentford are still going to find it a little bit difficult to try and get going, especially at their new stadium as well, where they haven't looked all that convincing. I could be wrong, but I'm going to say Brentford get a 1-0 home victory. I think it's going to be very, very tight, just like with Cardiff and Nottingham Forest. I think it's only going to be 1-0, and it was just a coin flip on who I was going to pick. And for me, I think Brentford with a slightly stronger squad, I think will edge it. Before I move on, let's see what FIFA 20 thinks will happen.
The fourth game to commentate on is Brentford versus Huddersfield Town. Emil Smith-Rowe to Steve Mounier. Can he have a shot? He does, and it's a goal. It's a brilliantly taken goal by Huddersfield Town. Came out of nowhere, really. Brentford 0, Huddersfield 1. I mean, it looks like Huddersfield are going to hold on to this lead and match real-life results from last year, and they have. According to FIFA 20, it will be Brentford 0, Huddersfield 1.
Interesting. They think Huddersfield's going to repeat their fortunes what they had last year under Daddy Cowley and get a 1-0 away victory to Brentford. That'll be crazy if that does happen, and it'll be such a good result for them. We now go to Luton versus Derby. This game, I'm really struggling to put my finger on. Luton have looked really good so far. However, they played in 2 away games, looked good in both of them. And actually, this trend continues in the end of last season when they had Nathan Jones as manager. Away from home, they look fantastic. They set out to win. At home, though, they don't look as convincing. And with Derby, they were very unfortunate to lose in the Carabao Cup to Preston. They were, I would say, a slightly stronger side in terms of the first 50 minutes, although Preston did miss some big chances before they went behind. But a wonder strike from Barkusen and a very dubious handball is what cost Derby in the end. So Derby are not having the best of starts right now, but this is the sort of game they can definitely change their fortunes though. Derby just have to go for it. You know, they need to show something. They have made the recent signing of that Wozniak guy from Poland, who I think can be a positive signing. I've seen a little bit of him play and he looks quite a good player actually. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I think this will be really, really tight actually. Could easily see either side winning, but for me I can't edge them. I'll say 1-1. But before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
The 5th match to go through in the Championship predictions is Luton Town against Derby, both sides with contrasting results in the Carabao Cup 2nd round. Waghorn now. Oh, and he hit the crossbar. This is the closest anyone's come to scoring. Waghorn is so unlucky not to score, hitting the crossbar. Jason Knight. Oh, what a pass out to Waghorn now. Good save, and it came off the crossbar again. Oh my goodness, Derby have come so close to scoring twice now. Collins, he's still got it somehow. Collins to Tunnicliffe. It's a goal. Derby, despite hitting the post and the crossbar, they are behind to Luton Town. He boots it, but that is the full-time whistle. Luton make it 3 wins of all competitions right now. According to FIFA 20, the game will finish Luton 1. Derby County 0.
So FIFA 20 predicts that Luton will continue their great start of 3 wins out of 3 in all competitions. That would be absolutely incredible. The next game to go over is Middlesbrough versus Bournemouth. Now, the biggest news coming out of Middlesbrough and Bournemouth is that Neil Warnock has been tested positive of coronavirus. So automatically, I feel Middlesbrough will have a bit of a disadvantage. I feel like they will have to have a caretaker manager take charge of the game. And actually, I forgot to mention with Luton and Derby, Middlesbrough and Bournemouth are also 2 of the 3 championship stadiums hosting the pilot scheme with 1,000 fans. So that will help Luton probably, but with terms of 1,000 fans, this could definitely help Middlesbrough. But I'm still not too convinced with their home record, and against Bournemouth as well, which, yes, you know, they may have been a little bit lucky to get all 3 points against Blackburn, but they have goals in them, and I think that is what's key. They also beat Crystal Palace in a dramatic Carabao Cup penalty shootout. In this game, I don't think there'll be much within it. I think Middlesbrough would definitely be frustrating to play against for Bournemouth, but I look at Bournemouth's squad, and I see the goal scorers in their squad. I think they'll edge this. I think it'll be a 2-1 away victory, but you know, maybe having the fans in the stadium could sway it to Middlesbrough's way. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with that pilot experiment. So I'll say 2-1 away to Bournemouth. But before I move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
This time we've got Middlesbrough going up against Bournemouth. Back to Cook, back to Ryan Fraser. This could be crucial. Fraser! Oh my gosh, what a save! We're in the final minute of the game, and I tell you what, the most boring game I've seen FIFA simulate so far. Thank God it's full time. Apparently, according to FIFA 20, this game's going to be a boring stalemate. Middlesbrough 0, Bournemouth 0.
Simply a 0-0 draw. I hope that's not the case though, especially for the 1,000 fans that risks coming to this stadium. And the next game to go over is Norwich against Preston. Norwich, definitely probably the more refreshed side. They didn't have to play in the Carabao Cup, already being knocked out by Luton Town. Preston are on the back of a great victory against Derby in the Carabao Cup. They were completely dead and buried, it looked like. It looks like they were not going to score, although Derby going down to 10 men, I think really did help Preston's course, and they just needed that extra bit of quality to get back into it. And you have to step up and give an applaud to Tom Barkusen, who was absolutely incredible. That strike was incredible. Going to this game though, Preston have a very rotten record against Norwich, especially recently. They actually played against Norwich last year in the FA Cup, which they lost 4-2 at home at Deepdale. Adam Ida scoring a hat-trick in that game. And following that, Ida has already scored his first goal against Huddersfield. He can have a lot of fun in this game. For me, I think Norwich were below par, but I think with a week to reflect on what's happened against Huddersfield, I think at Carrow Road, especially with the fans back, I think they'll go for it. I'm going to say a thrashing, actually. A 3-0 victory to Norwich. I may sound a bit outrageous for Preston, not giving them a bit of a chance, but I'm still not convinced of their squad if they can score enough goals. And I think this is going to be the game for Norwich that they can definitely state their authority in the Championship. But before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 thinks will happen.
The 7th game to go through is Norwich versus Preston. Oh, that's a really poor pass by Hanley though. Daniel Johnson's got that. Through ball to Sean Maguire. Oh, what a save. Here's Sam Byron running forward, giving it to Timo Pukki. He'll win that. But it's good defending by Davies, although he's just giving it back to him. Cantwell now. It's a goal. And it's been coming. Norwich have been the better side. Look, the more likely. Preston nearly scored just a couple of minutes earlier, but Norwich literally made them pay. 1-0 Norwich. He gets past, is a cross. Good save by Rudd. Cantwell, great save by Rudd again. What a double save. Looks like he may lose it. No, Vrancic now. Good save by Declan Rudd, and that will be the end of the game. So according to FIFA, this game's going to finish Norwich 1, Preston 0 in front of 1,000 fans.
So FIFA 20 thinks that Norwich will also win, but by 1-0. Probably a more realistic result, actually. The next game to go over is Reading versus Barnsley. Both sides with contrasting results in the opening day. Reading had an unbelievable start, completely tearing Derby apart, and Barnsley, unfortunate for them, they lost to Luton, but they should have taken their chances. But both sides have had different fortunes in the Carabao Cup. Reading managed to lose out to Luton. Barnsley were terrific against Middlesbrough. They were the best side for minute 1 and didn't allow Middlesbrough into the game at all. And lucky for them, they had to play my team Chelsea in the next round, so good luck to you on that. But on this game, I think it'll be very, very tight. You know, Barnsley have really got something about them, and if they can repeat that performance against Middlesbrough, against Reading, I think Reading may struggle. But I think Reading will play a little bit more similar than they did in the Championship, because it wasn't their strongest team out there. I'm going to say 2-1 home victory to Reading, but I'm literally just edging Reading because of their strongest squad and their performance last week. That is literally just how I'm slightly edging it, but it's really tight. Before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 thinks will happen.
So the next game to commentate on is Reading versus Barnsley. Reading looking very, very dangerous right now. Yeardem looking like he's about to cross here, but the cross is not good. Oh no! Oh, what a free shot. I think it was George Puskas with a free shot. The touch was very poor. Just needed to strike the target, and that he does. And it's Collins with an outstanding reflex save. John Swift's got a free kick from 28 yards out. This is his sort of territory. John Swift. Oh, it comes off the crossbar. Here's Mayte now. Can he do something in the final minute? Puskas is a great save by Collins in the final minute of the game to deny Reading all 3 points. He got Barnsley a draw. According to FIFA 20, this game will finish Reading 0, Barnsley 0.
So FIFA 20 predicts this will be the second 0-0 draw. Hopefully we don't get many of those this weekend. The next game to go over is Rotherham going up against Millwall. For some reason, I don't see many goals in this game. Rotherham, I think, will actually be the strongest side because at home, Rotherham are like a different kettle of fish. They play with intent. They really want to win. However, with Millwall, with how tight their defence is, I think it'll be very difficult for Rotherham to break this side down. Both teams have had contrasting results in the opening day. Rotherham picked a great victory against Wycombe in the final minute of the game, a great corner and a great header by Iweke. And in terms of Millwall, they had a really disappointing 0-0 draw, which I don't think they were the strongest team at all. They only had one shot on target in the whole 90 minutes, which was absolutely poor on their part. But what I think will happen in this game, I think it'll be similar territory. I don't think there'll be many goals at all. I'd say Rotherham actually may be the more likely team to score, but despite Millwall playing very well against Cheltenham, you know, Rotherham's going to be a much tougher test, especially away from home at the New York Stadium. I'm going to say this is another 0-0 draw. I think it's going to take Millwall time to get their goal scoring form back, and in terms of Rotherham, you know, they didn't look too threatening against Wycombe, I'm not going to lie to you. The reason that they looked really threatening was from their set pieces, but if Millwall defend those set pieces well, I think Rotherham will be cut out, so I'll say 0-0. But let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen.
So the 9th game to commentate on is Rotherham going up against Millwall. Going to give it to Crooks. Crooks has got a load of space. Crooks! Wow, what a top save by Bartosz Białkowski already 4 minutes in. Adelakun is actually charging forward here in the left-hand side. Wow. He's got some options here. Ogbin! Oh, off the post! Oh, Rotherham comes so close to scoring. Mata can charge forward here. Great pass to Smith. Smith hits the post again. Oh, and Crooks can't get the rebound. Rotherham have been so unlucky not to score. You would be thinking, well, I'm thinking, how the hell have Rotherham not scored? They'd be much better. They've had the chances. They've hit the post twice. But Football's a cruel, cruel world. According to FIFA 20, it'll finish Rotherham 0, Millwall 0.
The FIFA 20 for once is actually going to agree with me that this is going to be a 0-0 draw. I hope neither of us are right, if I'm going to be honest with you. The next game to go over is Sheffield Wednesday versus Watford. For me, I'm actually really excited for this game. Sheffield Wednesday had a miraculous performance against Cardiff, but they also had a miraculous performance against Rochdale. 2-0 victories in a row, away victories as well, which I think is really encouraging for Sheffield Wednesday. But they are at home, and at home they've got a rotten record. They had the worst home form out of all 24 teams last year, Sheffield Wednesday, and if they want to survive, especially getting rid of their points deduction, they need to improve their home record as soon as possible. But Watford's not going to be an easy test for them. Watford so far have been a little bit underwhelming, if I'm going to be honest. I think Vladimir Ivic with his 5 at the back formation, don't know if that's a bit of a negative tactic, but it definitely works well. But they narrowly got past Middlesbrough. They were quite lucky to go through in the Carabao Cup as well after being from behind for a lot of the game. But having said that, I think Watford will have just about enough to squeeze something. But Sheffield Wednesday is not going to be easy. I think Sheffield Wednesday have got the good players to really hurt this team. I'm going to say a 2-2 draw. I actually think this will be quite an entertaining game. I think Watford at some stage is going to start getting their goal scoring out, and I think that is exactly what Watford would do. I'll say 2-2, but let's see what FIFA 20 thinks will happen.
The 10th game for me to commentate on is Sheffield Wednesday going up against recently relegated Watford. Back to Troy Deeney now. It's a good pass. Islan Slar can take that. Oh, it's a fantastic save. Crosses it. Defeu. Good save. Troy Deeney. Another great save by Craig Dawson. What a fantastic double save. It's full time. Sheffield Wednesday, hang on. According to FIFA 20, this game will finish Watford 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
That's the third 0-0 draw in a row. Definitely not what I want to see in the Championship this weekend. The penultimate game to go for the last Saturday game actually is Swansea going up against Birmingham. Both sides with a win in the opening day of the season. Swansea picking up a great 1-0 away victory against Preston, and Birmingham picking up a great 1-0 home victory against Brentford. Both these sides picking wins against really top teams actually in the Championship. But if any of them can win this game, they'll be on a very, very strong start to the season. Swansea, what I really like about them, I like their squad, I like how attacking it is, but also their defending. Like Rodon, I think he should be man of the match against Preston. He was absolutely solid. Him with Pen Cabango, it was a solid defensive partnership. And they've got everything, Swansea. I genuinely think they've got one of the most complete squads in the league. And in terms of Birmingham, yes, they were a little bit lucky to get anything away from it following that Brentford hit the post and the bar. But Birmingham defended for their lives and they got the win. And I feel like if they do that against Swansea, they may have a chance, especially if they nick an early goal. And they may be helped with the fact that Scott Hogan has now returned to them on a 4-year deal. But for me, looking at the squads, I see one winner, and that is Swansea. I think despite Birmingham being so robust at the back, I think they just have too many attacking players that can definitely crack them open. Ayew, Jamal Lowe, they can definitely cut this team open. If Jake Bidwell played as well as he did against Preston, he would definitely tear this side apart as well. I'm going to say a pretty routine 2-0 victory. I back Swansea to get something in this game. And before we move on, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen. Let's hope it's not a 0-0 draw.
This game's been very, very boring. And I think for the 4th time in a row, FIFA 20 predicts that this game is going to have a stalemate. Swansea 0, Birmingham 0.
The 4th 0-0 draw in a row. Maybe the game wants me to have a shorter video this time. But the last game to go over now is Sunday's game. Stoke going up against Bristol City. With Bristol City, I think they'll definitely be very, very strong. They had a pretty good start against a very hard to beat Coventry side who have not lost a game since December last year. And a 4-0 victory against Northampton. Yes, I know it's Northampton Town, but the way they just blew Northampton away just goes to show that they've got so many attacking players. And I just looked at goal scorers. I saw Chris Martin score. I'm like, wow, they've got options. It's scary the amount of options they have going forward and the defensive options that they have as well. But I think this is going to be a real test for both of these sides to see if any of them could be the real deal this season. And this is definitely one of those games you can definitely see one side stepping up and maybe one side underperforming. Stoke undoubtedly very strong defensively, but Bristol City with the options they have going forward can definitely test that with Jeju, Wells, Martin. They can definitely give a really good go to crack this Stoke side. But Stoke have some dangerous players going forward as well. And defensively with Bristol City, they've not been the strongest, but keeping a clean sheet against Northampton may just be the confidence boost that they need, that they can definitely be robust at the back. Now, this game is really doing me. I'm thinking one team's going to really overperform and get a good win and make a statement. And for me, I've just edged it to Bristol City. I don't know why, I just really like their squad at the moment. And I feel like if Dean Holden can get a win against Stoke at the Bet365 Stadium, I think Bristol City could have a really strong start to the season. I'm going to say a 2-0 away victory to Bristol City. I mean it. They've got some really good attacking players. And for me, I just look at this game overall with the squads and the confidence. I think that Bristol City can definitely rise up to this game. Of course, they have an extra day break from Stoke. Of course, that they had to play against Wolves as well. This may be my most crazy prediction, but we've seen crazy things happening in the Championship. And before we move on for the final time, let's see what FIFA 20 predicts will happen in this game.
And the final game to predict this weekend is our first Sunday game happening at 2 o'clock. Stoke City versus Bristol City. Jeju can win that. Patterson. No, Vyman. Oh, it's squeezed in. A bit fortunate for Bristol City, but it's Andre Vyman with a goal. And finally, after 45 games, I can commentate on a goal, and it's well deserved. Bristol City have been the better side in the opening stages. 1-0 Bristol City. Stoke have improved, to be fair, but nowhere near convincing to Tess Bentley, and that is the final result. Bristol City continue their very strong start to the season. According to FIFA 20, this game will finish Stoke 0. Bristol City 1.
Finally a goal. So they think also that Bristol City will win, this time by 1-0. Very interesting. Before we end the video, let's predict the Premier League games in the second weekend as well. So Everton, West Brom. Everton were really good against Spurs. I'm going to say 2-0 Everton. I think they'll be comfortable in this game. Leeds and Fulham. Leeds need to play exactly like they did against Liverpool and not what they did against Hull if they want to win this game. Could go either way. You know, it was a really close game last year in the Championship, so I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds. It'll be very close, let me tell you. Man United, Crystal Palace, which is a 5:30 game. First time we're going to see Manchester United in the Premier League this season. I think they can get something. You know, Palace got an away win last year, but I think this will be different. I'm thinking 3-1 Manchester United, but it'll be very close. Arsenal, West Ham. Oh, I'm going to say 2-0 Arsenal. Despite West Ham giving a good victory against Charlton, I think Arsenal will pull through and get a 2-0 victory. Then we go to Sunday's game. Southampton, Spurs. Oh, man. Okay. I'm going to say 0-0 draw, actually. I don't think either of these sides are going to score. Newcastle, Brighton. Oh, my. I was going to say 0-0 as well. But actually, I might predict Brighton for a 1-0 away victory. Brighton was so good against Chelsea. And if they play like they did against Chelsea, I think they can definitely get something. Chelsea and Liverpool. I won't lie, I'm really dreading this game. I'm going to say 1-1 draw. I think we can get something, but we are riddled with injuries at the moment, which is why I'm not completely confident with Chelsea. Leicester, Burnley. Final game to predict. This is the first time I'm going to see Burnley back, so I'll be interested to see how they react. I'm going to say 1-0 Leicester. I don't think there'll be many goals in this game. Burnley will definitely keep it tight at the back. And whilst I finish talking about my Premier League predictions, here's an update on what's going on with the Fantasy Premier League right now. Daniel Corsby, well done for winning this week game with 73 points, which is absolutely great. This is the team he has gone with. I did okay. I came 5th place in the league at the moment with 61 points. I've already changed my team quite a bit. This is the new team I'm going to go with in the opening weekend. St. Maximin may be a bit of a risk, especially I'm predicting Brighton to have a 1-0 away victory, but you never know. I think St. Maximin will have a good game. But apart from that, I think that's a very strong side to bring to next week. But that wraps it up for today's video. That's all the score predictions predicted in the Championship and the Premier League in the weekend. If you guys want to see more content, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. It would really make my day, especially as I'm now multitasking for uni work, etc. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel, especially as I'm now going back to uni. Videos are going to be a lot harder for me to try and make. So you giving the subscription, pushing me to 1,000 subscribers as soon as we can would really make my day. Hopefully we can get to around over 300 by the end of September. I think it can be done. And please share this channel. This is how I am going to grow in popularity. If you can share, it would really make my day. As always, that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care, guys.